With Kid leading the way, we descend the stairs. At the bottom of the staircase, a quite sturdy-looking door stands on the right. The hallway also continues on ahead, which will take us towards the terrace. Let's proceed back towards the terrace. After a little while, we come to a door on the left. The terrace lies ahead. Let's proceed onwards towards the terrace. After a short while, the terrace comes into view on the left. The cool evening air trickles in through the doorway, giving me a subtle reassurance, but let's continue on through the hallway. After a while, the path splits into 3 directions. To the left is a descending staircase, while the path on the right extends into darkness. Another passageway lies ahead. Let's proceed on ahead. We continue through the passageway. After a while, we arrive at a beautifully decorated set of double doors. Let's enter. This seems to be Viper Manor's ballroom. Beautiful decorative ornaments rest on a large table in the center of the huge hall. Rows of huge pillars are lined up on both sides, adorned with sculptures of birds and various other animals. At the far end of the room sits a gigantic organ, taking up the entirety of the wall. Its pitch-black aura beckons us. A countless number of candles provides a soft, flickering luminescence to the room. Everything around us shimmers in the dim candlelight. Various portraits have been hung up high on the walls, depicting all sorts of well-dressed people. From what I can gather, they're high-quality oil paintings. They all have a similar sort of morbid gaze in their eyes, though. Who could this be? Lynx's relatives, maybe? Of these, a portrait of a young lady in a pink dress catches my eye. Wait, what was that? I swear she looked at me just then. Come on, Serge. Time to put away the ghost stories. It's just my imagination acting up again, I tell myself. It was probably a trick of light, caused by a flickering candle or something. The oil's glossy finish distorted the image for a second or two. Yeah, that's what happened. But I don't know. This room's bloody strange. Kit sees it too. She has to have seen it. I suggest we look elsewhere, Magel says suddenly. Kit and I offer no objections. We leave the ballroom, heading back through the passageway. After a bit of walking, we come to a 3-way split in the path. To the right is a set of stairs leading down, while a narrow passageway on the left leads off into darkness. The path up ahead will take us towards the terrace, but let's take the stairs to get to the catacombs. As I start to slowly descend the stairs in the dim light, I stretch my hand out in front of me to try and feel for something. However, all I'm greeted with is the moist feeling of these grimy stone walls. We've descended the staircase. To the left lies a huge stone archway, and to the right we can see a narrow path twisting into the darkness. Let's go to the archway on the left. We return to the atrium. From across the way we can see another archway leading off into darkness. Let's go through the room. Suddenly, a blood-curdling screech cut through the darkness. Scared stiff at the deafening sound, I look up to see 2 gigantic maddening red eyeballs staring straight at me. It's a griffin! Before I can even unsheath my knife, it starts to flap its wings viciously, conjuring a tremendous gust of wind. I'm knocked clear of my feet, banging my head up against the wall. Serge, you okay? My body aches from head to toe. I struggle to ignore the pain as I hastily get back up. I bend down to grab my knife. As I stand back up with it in my hand, I suddenly realize the griffin has already cornered me off. It sat no less than 2 feet in front of me, its enraged red eyes glowing like ember. What am I going to do now? Let's jump out of the way. I instinctively leap back, and not a moment too soon. I barely miss a swing from one of the griffin's log-like legs. Trying to break free from that ferocious, visceral gaze, I remember the knife I'm holding and grip it tight. Quickly switching my knife to a backhand grip, I swing at the griffin's neck with all my rage. The griffin writhes in pain as blood starts trickling down his neck. Alright, a weak spot! Twitching in pain, the griffin tries to get up. Kit steps over to it with my knife in hand, ready to finish the job. I hastily fix my stance, ready for another attack within moments. Trying to break free of that ferocious, visceral gaze, I remember the knife I'm holding and grip it tight. Let's attack again. Quickly switching my knife to a backhand grip, I swing out the griffin's neck with all my rage. However, seeing its fate, the griffin desperately recoils, leaving me with nothing but a fumbled attack. It then swings at me, eager to defend itself. I dodge, but then accidentally slip and fall to the ground. "Don't move, Serge!" I hear Kit shout. Suddenly, she vaults over my shoulders from behind. Yeah! Alright, she's landed a powerful jump kick on the side of the griffin's neck. Its head snaps backwards, letting loose a terrifying howl. The griffin starts to slowly move in on me, one step at a time. Then it suddenly stops. With a blank look in its eyes, it stumbles a bit and then comes crashing to the ground with a huge thud. Having crossed through the atrium, eventually we come to a split in the path. We can either go left or right from here. Let's head to the left path towards the catacombs. After a bit of walking, we come to an old-looking door with a brass handle. No matter how many times I return here, I don't think I'll ever get any more used to this place. But let's go in anyway. We return to the old man. Majo walks up to the cell and grasps the iron bars. He positions his feet and starts to pull away at the bars with incredible intensity. After a moment, the bar starts to bend like taffy. Majo enters first at the newly created opening. Kid follows, kneeling down before the mumbling old man. Putting her hands on the old man's shoulders, Kid tries to look into his eyes, but he continues to stare at the floor. Frustrated, she starts to shout at him, shaking him vigorously. "Come on, old fella, get up!" The old man's head shakes back and forth like a rag doll, but his eyes remain averted. Let's ask Majo if this is okay. "Do not worry," Majo says. "This may also prove to be helpful. But is it right to force him out of his wall for our own sake?" "The fate of the Acacia Dragoons have been woven into our own," Majo answers simply. And with that, just as Majo says the word Acacia, a glimmer streaks into the old man's eyes. He looks up quickly, apparently waiting for something. Oh man, he's been hearing us talk the entire time. Quick, Kid, show him the ring. Kid takes the ring from her pocket and shows it to the man. "The ring," he says in a voice so quiet it's barely audible. However, his eyes quickly return to the murky state. "Finally, my allies, you have returned. Because of me, the frozen flame was seized, and I have desecrated the name of the Acacia Dragoons. I am the only one left, but you have returned. Ah, Merkid, Soranda, now that we are once again reunited, let's all head back to Stag Lake." "Geez, listen, mister. The frozen flame, where is it? Any small hint will help. Come on!" "Frozen flame?" the old man asks. A warm smile streaks across his face. "Ah, my dear Miss Riddle, I have not seen you in quite some time. Surely you have not forgotten the secret entranceway." Yeah. You think you could tell me about that one again, Gramps?" Kid asked, trying to sound as ladylike as possible. "In the ballroom, third candlestick on the left." Kid hugs the old man, ecstatic, and so he resumes to his mumbling in that distant, shuddering voice. "Please forgive me for your father. I beg you, Riddle. The Dragoons." "It's high time for you to bust on out of here, old man," Kid says, pointing to the bent iron bars. However, he once again refuses to look up. "Come on. We've done all we can do here. He's got to walk through these bars himself." "Thanks, old-timer." Heading away from the catacombs, we eventually come to a split. Turning right heads back to the atrium, while proceeding straight through will take us to a downward staircase. Let's go to the right.